I'm Chidera.
I am a fashion designer. I cut and sew beautiful dresses. I started learning how to sew sometime in 2016. I planned on starting earlier, but due to some restraints, I couldn't start earlier. I made this outfit and this one and some others here. In this video, I'll be narrating my fashion story, the opposition I faced at first, and how far I have come. So do well to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hey people, what's popping? Kilo Shalem, again the name, eh? Let's go there. Okay, wonderful people, beautiful people. It is your favorite Chidera Giselle on the microphone. If you are new to my channel, I am Chidera Giselle, a Nigerian lifestyle and fashion vlogger living in Owerri, Imo State. Welcome to my channel. So you guys, I have something beautiful to tell you guys today. Just like I said in the intro, I make beautiful dresses just like this one behind, and I just decided to add it to this video because that's just the concept. This is my tape, my working tool, my scissors, one of the most important things. So today I'm going to be telling you guys about how my mom was not really into me learning tailoring when I was about learning tailoring. So I got admission in Obafemi Awolowo University sometime in 2015, and in my year one we had one seminar towards the end of 2015 called Dream Seminar. It was organized by NFCS, Nigeria Federation of Catholic Students. If you know NFCS here, can you identify in the comment section? Yeah, so it was organized by NFCS, and they said a lot of things about pursuing your dreams, having different things to do, not focusing on only one thing. Like they said a whole lot of things in that seminar. So after that seminar, although before the seminar I already had interest in maybe learning a handwork, but after that seminar the interest in fashion increased, and I had interest in bead making. I was already making tiny bead works here and there. So I was like, okay, I think I'm going to go into bead making and fashion designing. Yeah, so the Christmas before my first year ended, I went home and I told my mom that I want to learn tailoring. I was like all over tailoring, and she was like, that is it everything I'm going to do at once? That why don't I focus on my studies first? Why don't I focus on my education? When I'm done getting my BA, that's Bachelor of Arts degree, then I can talk of something else. And then that Shebi, I was learning bead, that have I finished learning the bead, that why would I say that I want to start learning tailoring? That was her tone then. So I was trying to convince her and all of that. She was like, okay, all right, that the bead making, that let me finish learning the bead making first. So she took me to the shop of one lady who was making beads. The lady was supposed to train me. You guys, I later stopped the bead making. I went to her shop for a week or two, then we resumed school. I went back to school. When I got back, I went to her shop for a few times and I stopped because of something personal. I heard something that was being said and it really got to me. It really got to my emotions and everything. I felt really hurt that somebody like that was supposed to be training me said something like that. I'm not going to go deep into details, but it was so hurtful to me, and I was like, you know what, I'm stopping this. Yeah, and that period my mom told me to go and learn the bead making. If my mom had listened to me, I'd have actually started learning the tailoring, and the bead making may have just died off along the line. So I got back during that break, and it was a 4 months break. That break that I stopped the bead making, it was supposed to be 4 months. So I was supposed to at least learn something for the 4 months, because I'm not good at staying idle. I don't like it. I don't like it for any reason. If I'm idle now like this, hey, oh my god, my body will be biting me, my body will be disturbing me. I need to do something. I have to do something. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I feel I'm as hardworking as I am, because I don't like to stay idle. I don't like to stay not doing anything. So I was like, how will I stay at home for 4 good months? I will not be doing anything. So I started disturbing my mom again. That she was like, that I should calm down. That in fact I should leave it next time I come on break and all of that. You guys, you know that was how I stayed at home for 4 months. So on the 4th month, yes, there was this story I read online. I used to read stories online. That was the thing I did throughout 4 months at home during that year 1 break, reading stories online. I was reading that story with my mom, so I read it out for her. It was a very interesting story about a young girl that lost her parents very early. Her father was a soldier. They were in the barracks. She wanted to study medicine, but because of her father's death she couldn't continue with the dream, and she had to go learn fashion designing, event planning, and catering, and all of that. And she made millions. She became a multi-millionaire, a billionaire. Like, she made name for herself and all of that. So I read that story with my mom. After reading that story, I've forgotten the name of that girl. Maybe her name was Esther in that story. Do you know that my mom now started calling me that name? Like, she got so engrossed in the story, and that story legit brought her into like agreeing to support me for the fashion thing. It's not like she didn't want me to learn it, but she felt like I was trying to do so many things at the same time, and she was not in support of it. She wanted me to calm down, finish one before starting another one. And I was trying to explain to her that in Nigeria now, you don't focus on one thing, and apart from that, I have a big dream in this fashion thing. And yes, I forgot to mention, after my year 1, before I went home for the 4 months break, I learned how to make Ankara bags, shoes, earrings, bangles. My friend Divine and I, we learned it from one guy in school then. So that was another thing that made the dream for learning the tailoring very, very huge. I was like, I can make Ankara bags, shoes, bangles, everything. It's just remaining for me to learn how to make dresses. So she finally bought into the idea, but that holiday was over, the 4 months holiday, and I went back to school. Oh my god, you guys, it's recently that 4 months stopped paining me. Like, even in my final year, even when I just graduated from school, when I remember that I stayed at home for 4 months doing nothing, the thing they pain me, So like I was saying, I went back to school. So in school, I told myself that I may come back home and my mom will start this story of focus on one first. So let me save money, because why I didn't even learn in that 4 months? If I had money, I didn't have any savings then. If I had savings, I would have gone to register myself, yes, but I didn't have savings then. That was why I couldn't even go. So I started saving money in school, started putting money together, yeah, and all of that. So by the time we were on holiday, it was Christmas holiday, and that holiday was just for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So I told my senior sister that I'm going to the shop of my tailor, because she used to make beautiful dresses for me. So I told my senior sister that it's my tailor that I want to learn from. So it's my senior sister that introduced me to the tailor. So she was like, I should go with her. So when we got there, she discussed with my tailor, my boss, my wonderful boss. Yeah, she discussed with her, and after they finished discussing and all of that, she now said that okay, I can start work even that night, anytime I want to start. And as God would have it, it was my senior sister that funded, my eldest sister, not Uche. She was one that funded the whole training. She said she was going to pay, that even if I saved money, I should keep it. In Lagos, I didn't learn from a fashion school. I learned from a normal tailor, like a tailor in a normal shop. It's an area called Agboju in Lagos. If you know Agboju in Lagos, if you know Festac, Agboju is opposite Festac town in Lagos. So that was our area in Lagos. So it was just a normal tailor shop, not a fashion school, normal tailor shop with normal manual machines, wooden tables. The only industrial machine in the shop was an industrial weaving machine. But I knew that this lady used to make clothes for me, and I used to love the clothes very well. So I was insistent on learning from her. I was like, if I learn from her and I'm not satisfied, then I can go to a fashion school later on. So that was how I registered there, 2016 December, and I actually stayed in my madam's shop for only 2 weeks plus before school resumed, and I went back to school. I didn't even rest. Like, I was so thin, and I came back home, I didn't rest. I would go to work. When we had a lot of married women in our shop, then we were like up to 10 to 15 apprentices in my madam's shop. So when all the married women that can sew go home, I'll sit down on their machines from like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. and I'll sew any rubbish I can sew until 8 p.m. 9 p.m. It was season, December period, so my madam was staying in shop for long. So before I went back to school, I already made one small top for myself and one high-waist skirt, but I never wore the high-waist skirt, but I wore that top well. Like, when my friend Divine saw it in school, she was like, Chidera, you're the one that made this top, Abby. Yeah, so that was it. That was how I registered in my madam's shop, and I went back to school. So the problem then was being in school and learning. I couldn't do it at once because my madam's shop was in Lagos, and the place where I was schooling was in Osun State, and I didn't even have any sewing machine, and I didn't have money to get a sewing machine. I didn't know how I was going to save money to get a sewing machine, but I was just so insistent on learning the work. So I didn't even go to my madam's shop after that first holiday. I didn't go to her shop for over a year. Yes, the next time I went back home, I was very, very sick. So they didn't allow me to go there. Like, the sickness was very serious. I was so scared. When the sickness finally left me, it was meant like 1 week or 2 weeks to resumption, and my mom was like, I should recover. So I didn't go to my madam's shop until 2018 Easter. Yes, I didn't go to my madam's shop throughout 2017. So 2018 Easter, I went to her shop and I stayed for like a month. So I went back to school during that period. and I told my friend that this my tailoring that I'm learning is very slow, that is there a place we can learn in school or something. So my friend was learning in school then, and she introduced me to her boss, and the money I paid at that my boss's place in school, the money was like times 2 or times 3 of what I paid in Lagos. And the funny thing is that I stayed in that guy's shop for 2 weeks, and I went home for another holiday. And by the time I got back to school, it was my final year. Final year was so stressful. Projects, proposal, everything was so stressful. So at the end of the day, I went back to school in final year, and the guy that I paid how much? Okay, let me mention the amount I paid the guy in school. I paid him, I was supposed to pay him 30-something thousand, but I paid him 20-something thousand plus, and I was supposed to balance him the remaining. But I went back to school in final year, and I had no time to go to his shop. And at the point when final year ended, I was like, I don't even think I want to stay back in school just because of tailoring when I have a madam at home. So I went to explain to him why I was not going to come and why I was not going to give him his balance. It caused issues but he later understood me, and he was like, okay, it's fine, he understands, I can go. Because I literally just learned to work with him for 2 weeks plus. I didn't stay for more than that and all of that. So I left. But something I forgot to mention is that sewing machine, I stayed for almost 2 years without a sewing machine, yes. And all of a sudden my mom went to a warehouse in Lagos called Odiolowo warehouse, and she saw a lot of Tokumbo sewing machines. Yeah, Tokumbo means second hand. So she saw a lot of second hand sewing machines, electric machines and all of that. I don't know if I have any picture of that. If I have, I'll attach. If not, it's not an industrial machine, but it's an electric machine that doesn't use manual and all of that. She saw it, she saw washing machines, all those things. So she got 2 machines, one for me and one for Uche. You guys know that Uche sews, but she's not doing it as a business currently. She just does personal stuff. It's later in the future that she decide whether she wants to turn it into business and all of that. So my mom got that machine for me. So when I was going back to school in my final year second semester, I went back to school with that sewing machine, and I was still sewing. I was still not sewing very well. My hand was still shaking. But what I did was that I started going online, Facebook. I followed a lot of sewing pages. I followed a lot of YouTube channels. I was watching videos. If I want to sew a style and I can't sew it, I'll go to YouTube. How to cut a line, how to cut this. So now when you even see me sewing some styles that I cut, my madam does not cut those things in that way. Like now, the way I sew pockets, for example, the way I cut it and sew it, that is not how my madam cuts and sews her pockets. She has a method, but because I learned it on YouTube and I kind of prefer that method, I just use it. My trouser, the way I cut trouser, I learned it from that guy in school. That guy that I went to his shop for only 2 weeks, he was the person I learned it from, a male tailor. So the way my madam cuts trouser is not the way I cut, but for general things, the basics of sewing, how to turn lining, how to sew 6 pieces, how to cut peplum, how to do this, how to figure out a style. When somebody sends a style to you, how to figure out, okay, the hand was cut like this. It was from my madam. I learned everything. And after school, because of the machine I had in school and because of the YouTube videos I was learning, in my final year I sewed my Thanksgiving cloth. I'm going to be attaching it to this screen. Yeah, for someone who had learned tailoring from a boss for only 2 months plus, or only about 3 months roughly, plus online learning and having a machine by herself, I made that for myself in school. I made all my final year outfits. I even made Divine's own. If I'm able to get all the pictures, I'll be attaching them to the screen so that you guys can understand what I'm trying to explain. Yeah, so by the time I went back after graduation, I decided that I was going to stay in my madam's shop until NYSC. So when I went back, she was even surprised at how much I had improved and all of that. So what she started doing was that if she had any simple customers clothes she wanted to make, she would shift them to me. So I would make those clothes, and when the customers come, they won't even know that it's my madam's apprentice that made that cloth. Yeah, that was how it was. And my madam, if you sew anything rough, you're going to losing it. So that's to tell you that my work was not rough as at then. Yes, so if there's anything that is difficult for me, I'll ask her, she'll put me through. Then sometimes she'll tell me, okay, we get 6 pieces, we will go cut. Oh, Chidera, go cut the 6 pieces. Chidera, go cut peplum. If they sew breast pad, the princess, go cut the princess. So I'm like this, cut them like this, all those kind of things, and she would tell me. And luckily for me, that was my madam's daughter's wedding period. Yeah, so she was the one that made all her daughter's wedding outfits. So she made most of them in her shop. So I helped out with some of them. I helped out with the chief bridesmaids, Ashwebi, like the bride's younger sister. There's a cloth she wore, one turquoise thing. I was the one that made it. My madam, she puts confidence in you. Once you start learning work with her, she starts teaching you how to cut. That's the first thing she will teach you, but not with her customers' clothes. Before she gives you her customers' clothes, you must know how to sew at least and all of that. So that was how I stayed there like a month or 2 months to the end of NYSC. I stopped going, and from there I went for youth service. I kept on growing myself. I kept on trying to make my work neater. I kept on trying to, like, because it is one thing to learn tailoring and it is one thing to actually be able to sew clothes. Believe me, there are so many people that learn from the best of people, but they still struggle. So I believe it's that person, your zeal. And honestly, I'm not the kind of person that will tell you that you must go to a fashion school. If I'm going to be going to a fashion school now, I'll be going to a fashion school to learn how to make wedding dresses, because I have interest in that. Yes, making wedding dresses, those ball gowns. It's not like if I try I won't get it, but I want to be a professional at making wedding dresses, like to finish it very well. So if I'm opportune to see a good school where I'll go to and I can afford the money to learn it, that's the only thing I'm going to a fashion school for. But per se, normal sewing and everything, I don't need any fashion school, because my madam's shop was enough for me. Watching YouTube videos was enough for me. The 2 weeks I spent in that guy's shop was enough for me. And one thing I did was that I made a whole lot of dresses for myself. I kept on sewing dresses for myself. I used my body to learn how to sew. I was not doing practical. I was not taking people's clothes to use and do practical. I was using my own. And luckily for me, there were Ankaras, cheap Ankaras, not the high quality ones, of 1,000 naira. So I'll just go to Lagos Island, buy like 6 yards. I'll use that 6 yards and sew. There are so many clothes I sewed that I don't wear. They're just packed somewhere in our house in Lagos. Yeah, nobody uses them, but they all added to my wealth of experience. And honestly, my mom is so proud of me today. She resisted at first, but after reading that story and after seeing the zeal in me, she let me be. And oh my god, even up to today, like when I saw something, she'll be like, "Wow, mama, give me high five." Yeah, because they call me one mama too. Yeah, so that's just it. My mom is so proud of me, and she's very, very supportive right now. My sisters are so proud of me, and me, I'm so proud of me. I keep on improving, I keep on trying, I keep on striving to be better. I just decided to share my small business story to inspire somebody out there. What is that dream you want to chase? And everyone is telling you, focus on one, do this, do that. If I had focused on only my certificates, okay, quite all right, I may be working, I may have a job somewhere, but I won't be deriving the fulfillment I'm deriving now. I have bigger dreams of taking this fashion so far. It's just that I've already started my journey, and I am proud of how far I have come. It may be stressing me out now, but I know in the future, when I have more helping hands, it's going to be less stressful for me. And if not for anything, that's giving me a wider reach, a wider audience on YouTube. I'm like, oh my god, thank you so much for making me. Thank you so much for the day I started learning tailoring. When I see the few views that is given to me, the exposure is given to me on this platform. December this year is going to make it 5 years I took a bold step to start this tailoring journey. There were a lot of breaks in between because of schooling and doing it at the same time. But imagine if I had not learned it in school and I was trying to learn it now. The little money, if it's 30,000 I'm getting from it in a month, or 50,000 or 100,000 as the case may be, any amount I'm getting from it now, I would not be getting it. I'll be spending the little savings I have to transport myself to work to go and learn it. So even if you're still a student, you can still start somewhere. And even if you have already graduated, you can still start. Everybody has their different story, but just make sure you take that bold step, and every other person is going to adjust. If you enjoyed this video, you learned a thing or two, do give it a huge thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this video. Let's move this ministry to the permanent site in Watago. Yeah, and hopefully I'm going to be seeing you in the next one. For now, bye, kiss kiss, love you. Whew. Jesus.